I only just got caught up on the back half of Abbott Elementary, the new season. And first things first, I want to say, even with all of its acclaim, it is very underrated. The show is fantastic. And while fans have been hooked into this will they, won't they of Janine and Gregory, there's another love story that people are annoyingly focusing on. People on the internet machine have been questioning if Tyler James Williams is queer for any number of reasons for anything that he's doing. And we've had interesting conversations here on FANTI and our feels about the ways that we see people trying to out other people on social media. But you've got to appreciate when someone on the other side of the fence gets it very right. The story over on The Root does a great job of breaking down how this happened. Comes from Chanel Janai, and Chanel also is a new journalist here in Los Angeles, so shout out to her and all of our journalists here in the community here in Los Angeles. Tyler took his Insta story responding to this speculation about his sexuality, saying the following. Usually I wouldn't address stuff like this, but I feel like it is a conversation that is bigger than me. He says, I'm not gay, but I think the culture of trying to, quote, find some kind of hidden trait or behavior that a closeted person, quote, let slip is very dangerous. He went on to say, overanalyzing someone's behavior in an attempt to catch them, quote, catch them, directly contributes to the anxiety a lot of queer and queer questioning people feel when they fear living in their truth. It makes the most pedestrian of conversations and interactions in spaces feel less safe for our gay brothers and sisters and those who may be questioning. It also reinforces an archetype many straight men have to live under that is oftentimes unrealistic, less free, and limits individual expression. I've been very clear about the intentionality I try to put into using my platform to push back against those archetypes every chance I get. He finishes by saying, being straight doesn't look one way. Being gay doesn't look one way. And what may seem like harmless fun and conversation may actually be sending a dangerous message. Happy Pride to all of my queer and questioning brothers, sisters, and individuals. I pray that you feel seen in ways that make you feel safe in the celebration that is this month. What just hit for you? What just happened? What is it? It's disrespectful, I'm sure.
I just want to be clear. I was not laughing at the statement. I was laughing specifically at Happy Pride to all of my queer and questioning brothers, sisters, and individuals. Oh, I don't get family claim. You know, I don't get a family.
Wow, it's never enough for you people, is it? It's just never enough. Getting named is not the right name.
I just thought it was funny. That's all. I just thought it was funny. You know, because sibling is right there. Okay, it's right there, and we got individuals, which, you know, obviously no malice. I just thought it was funny. Anyway, go ahead.
I think it's a we oftentimes see allies, and you know how we feel about that language around here, but like having to come out and say things like this. And I thought like Tyler James Williams did a pretty good job, or at least that's how it came across to me. I also want to note Tyler's younger brother, Tyrell, shared a tweet thread that really kind of highlighted a little bit more on this. And I appreciated it. And it's many different tweets, but the last ones here say, one of the many joys of queerness that isn't talked about nearly enough is the act of complete reconstruction of one's ego. What you are is not what you've been conditioned to believe. So you get to create yourself in your own image outside any arbitrary social constructs or expectations, to not just think outside the box, but to discover the great deception of our patriarchal society. There never was a box to begin with. Tyrell finishes by saying, we taught each other just how big the world can be. And when you decide for yourself who and what you are, what is authentic to you, that is how you can be an ally. And he says he wants to give his brother, Tyler, flowers for the ways that he showed up for his younger brothers who were queer and really kind of deconstructing gender and having conversations with them and making it a safe space for them after they came out. So I really appreciated that.
So let me jump in real quick. So just to cut through all of that, you know, iOS press release reading that you just did, the point is that Tyrell and their other brother are queer folks. And the thread talks about Tyler's, you know, doing what he needed to do to show up for them. You know, here's the thing though, you know, I feel a few different ways about this. Cause right, like, yes, people are always, trying to figure out the sexuality, particularly of people in culture who are otherwise quote unquote straight, right? And all of it is often latched into, you know, individuals collective desire, right, of these individuals, and, you know, masculinity and identity and what these things mean or don't mean and all those other stuff. So part of me is like, you know, yes, big, you know, good on Tyler for using his platform, if you will, to um encourage people to think differently, right, about this idea of trying to figure out, quote unquote, figure out folks' sexuality. Love that 10 out of 10, no notes, etc., or whatever the kids are saying these days. Now I will also say, now there was a part of me, that was like, okay, well, hold on. Because let me phrase it this way, actually, so I don't get in trouble.
Uh-oh.
I would love for the broader community to um also listen to the queer people who have and are saying the exact same thing about the quote unquote dangers, right, around trying to, you know, figure people out. And it is interesting to me, um, all of the kudos, right, that we are extending toward Tyler in this particular moment, and perhaps they are due. Um, um, so yeah, that's all I really had to say on this specifically.
I think this is the same kind of conversation that sometimes we see when white people speak up and say something great about race, or they get it right on something to do about, you know, whatever it is about a marginalized community. But I also think it's important that like we are thoughtful about the ways that we allow space for that, because on one hand we want straight folks and allies, or however we use that accomplice language or whatever, to like step up and stand out and use their platform and use their privilege and stand in front of the line and in front of the front lines and all that kind of stuff. And then when they do it though, then we're like, well, I don't know why you're getting any credit. And so like well, hold on. And like I think that
That's not what I'm saying, to be clear, but I will jump in afterwards.
but I think that we see this happen a lot, and like sometimes it's warranted, and sometimes I'm like, I don't know what else we want people to do, right? And like with Tyler James Williams, I think this conversation has been happening around him for a while, since Abbott has been out, and people always, you know, are always kind of questioning what people want and who they are in the in real world and all that kind of stuff. But I kind of teeter on how I feel about it. I do think that we've obviously seen plenty of queer, trans people and people who aren't even necessarily under the leg booty community umbrella be able to have these conversations well. But like I feel a little bit of a way.
Well, so to be clear, my statement is not an indictment on Tyler, right? It is a call to action on the broader world, right? To not reinforce, right, all of the isms and obias that are baked into this particular conversation. Tyler can do whatever the hell he wants. That's not what I was speaking to specifically. I will note, though, that, you know, this is why I believe that we should always, you know, instead of defaulting to everybody being heterosexual, I feel like we should default to everybody being queer.
I mean, now that I would stand behind.
What would that do for us as a culture, as a community, as a world, as a society, right? If the foot was on the other shoe, if the foot was on the other shoe, if the shoe was on the other foot, um, and instead of, you know, trying to you know, starting from a place of, you know, heterosexuality, right, we started from a place of queerness or something else. I wonder how that might change or shift our conversations, one particularly around like trying to suss people's, you know, identities out, and this broader conversation about outing, but also about this, what Tyler is speaking to in his message, this danger, he articulates it as, around, you know, that around what it can convey to people, right, who are questioning, who are, trying to figure themselves out, whether on a major celebrity type stage as he is on, or just in, our everyday communities and the intersections therein. So, everybody's a little gay
I mean,
is something that I have heard people say. I don't articulate that for myself for clarity's sake.